Hello and welcome to Treasury Notes, a financial education program from the West Virginia State Treasurer's Office. I'm your host, Gina Joins. The State Treasurer's Office works to help West Virginians prepare for their financial futures with several public programs. Today we're going to learn more about two of the newest programs, West VirginiaBLE and the Jumpstart Savings Program. WVABLE is designed to help empower people with disabilities to save and invest for current and future needs. It's an amazing program that has transformed the way people think about saving for the future. And the Jumpstart Savings Program is a new program in West Virginia and the first of its kind in the nation. It helps West Virginians save money for expenses associated with a career in a skilled trade or vocation. Today we're going to learn more about both opportunities offered by the West Virginia State Treasurer's Office. As I mentioned, Jumpstart Savings is a new program available to West Virginians. Program Director Andrea Herrick joins me today to talk more about this opportunity. Andrea, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me here.
All right, Andrea, first, let's just start by talking about the Jumpstart Savings Program. Can you give us a brief overview of what this program is and who it's for?
Sure. So Jumpstart is a state-administered savings account for skilled trade professionals, entrepreneurs, and the blue-collar workforce. So they can set aside money for tools, equipment, licenses, certifications, other types of career expenses, and see state tax advantages.
And I know State Treasurer Riley Moore created this program when he took office as State Treasurer, and it's really a different opportunity, an exciting opportunity for people. Can you give us an example of some of the trade professionals who could benefit from the new Jumpstart Savings Program?
Sure, it's a wide range of trade professions, anything from anyone from cosmetologists to chefs to plumbers and electricians, people who are in construction and carpentry, CDL drivers, anyone who needs some very specialized career training will benefit from this program.
And I see right now we have the website pulled up and you can see some of the different professions featured there. But if you're not sure if Jumpstart would be right for you and you would qualify for a Jumpstart account, what is the easiest way to find out more?
Sure. So at WV Jumpstart, we offer a quiz that walks prospective account owners through 5 simple questions, and that should give you an idea of whether the Jumpstart Savings Program can really benefit you.
And while we're talking about who can open up an account, can you explain the difference between the account owner and the account beneficiary? Because this is a little more similar to maybe a Smart 529 in the sense that there's both an account owner and an account beneficiary.
Yeah. So I work with people who are out there in the trades who are currently working. They open an account for themselves as the account owner, and they can name themselves as the beneficiary, as the person who's going to benefit from the program. But I also work with families who want to maintain financial control of the account. And, for example, a mother could open an account for a child. She would be the account owner. The child would be the account beneficiary. So that's kind of that designation is a little different.
And it gives it a lot of flexibility, right? So you have, of course, you can open up an account for yourself. So in that case, technical terms, you would be the account owner and the account beneficiary all rolled into one. But it is a nice feature that as a parent or as someone close to someone else, you could open up an account for that child and help them start their path to savings.
Exactly.
Speaking about starting a little earlier, I know Jumpstart has some really great incentives. So let's talk about that because there is something really special that you can take advantage of if you qualify.
Yeah. So we offer something called the Ignite Incentive, which is a one-time $100 deposit from the state of West Virginia into a Jumpstart savings account. We offer those to account owners who are under the age of 18, or I should say designated beneficiaries under the age of 18, and then also for people who are just getting their start in a career training program. So if, for example, you have recently enrolled in a community and technical college or a union apprenticeship program or an advanced career education center as an adult, if you've enrolled in one of those programs within the past 180 days, we'll put $100 in your account just as a little nest egg to get you started saving.
And I guess it really stresses the importance of saving for a profession that's maybe not your goal of going to a traditional four-year institution. Lots of young people go and get college degrees. This is geared toward really a little bit different profession, the trade professions, skilled professionals. Why do you think it's important to target that audience of people here in the state of West Virginia?
Yeah, so skilled trade professionals will see a lot of upfront costs when they're transitioning into the workforce that people who complete a four-year degree may not see up front. So they'll need to pay for licenses, they'll need to pay for certifications, supplies, tools, equipment, maybe even some business startup costs to really get their career off the ground. And so this program is really meant to build the skilled workforce in that way and really, get them a jump start, get them to kind of get over the hump and really prepare for the life of their career.
So if you know Jumpstart's for you, you think you might benefit from this savings program, how do you open up an account? What's the way to get started?
Yeah, so it's a simple 10-minute process at WVJumpstart.com. There's a button that says Enroll Now. You click it, and it's a very, it's a 10-minute application. It's going to ask you some basic information, name, date of birth, your social security number. You'll probably need to provide some identification information, whether that might be a driver's license or a military ID. Or a passport number, and if you would apply for the Ignite incentive, you would need to upload a birth certificate or an enrollment verification from your educational or vocational training program. Once that application is submitted, you'll be contacted by the state treasurer's office to let you know that your application has been approved. And then you'll be contacted by a representative from United Bank. The state contract for Jumpstart is through United Bank, and they'll walk you through the steps of opening the account, getting your mobile banking started, things like that.
So it's a very simple process, and then you have that trusted source of that partnership with United Bank, so that people can go and use it similar to how they use some of their other banking tools. That's really exciting, and one of the other exciting things about Jumpstart is that there are tax incentives to really just boost this program for people. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. So. One of the beautiful things about Jumpstart is that it's meant to be financially transformative. Jumpstart account owners can potentially deduct as much as $25,000 a year off their state taxes. So you can save as you put money away, and you can also save as you spend. So on both your contributions, and if your distributions are not federally deductible, you can be able to save money on those as well. We also offer something really special. We offer an employer matching credit. So if an employer would match contributions to a Jumpstart Savings account for an employee, they can deduct as much as $5,000 off of their state taxes as well.
Let's talk about what you can use that savings for once you do start to spend and use your savings.
Yeah. So as I said, this program is built with maximum flexibility for the skilled trades professional or small business owner. You should be able to use Jumpstart for anything that you might need to advance your career, whether that's ordinary and necessary business expenses to, things like advertising costs. So I always tell people that, it works for work boots to business cards. Even things like legal fees or rental spaces. You can use it for a work truck. My little sister is a cosmetologist, so she can use her Jumpstart funds for qualified expenses, things like her scissors, her booth rental fees, and even her product lines.
And once you open an account, you talked a little bit about this, managing it is a really easy process.
Yeah, for sure. It's meant to be very user-friendly for, the entrepreneur or the trade professional who is on the go, going from work site to work site, can manage Jumpstart using the United Bank online features as well as the mobile banking features as well.
And lots of people can contribute. It doesn't, if you open an account, doesn't just have to be you who contributes to this account?
Yeah, so it works a little bit like Smart 529 in that way, and that family members, friends, even an individual's employer can make contributions to your Jumpstart savings account.
And it really can help a person starting out in their career. I think, we talk a lot about boosting the careers for people who are just starting out, but a seasoned professional also has some advantages to use a Jumpstart account as well.
Oh, for sure. So Jumpstart is meant to reach, its maximum functionality for the skilled trade professional who is currently working. They're going to be able to maximize that state tax benefit. So while I do open accounts for, I opened one for a 9-year-old the other day. I've also opened an account for, a 55-year-old machinist the other day, so that people can utilize Jumpstart throughout the life of their career, and almost like our WVABLE program, to ensure that they're able to save on their state taxes as they shore up their career expenses.
That's great. We are going to talk about the WVABLE program in just a little bit. But before we start talking about that, I wanted to ask you, because you've been traveling around the state, you've been educating people on this brand new savings opportunity, and it is really brand new. So there is an education process about this when you're traveling the state. Tell us how you're reaching out to those people who may benefit and what their reaction has been.
Yeah, so I've been spending a lot of time at the advanced career education centers, registered apprenticeship programs, the high school career technical education programs, and community and technical colleges, offering financial education, really helping people to understand how to utilize the program, how it can, really support them over the life of their careers. I do speaking engagements, but I'm also, go in the classroom settings and really try to help students and trainees to understand how this can be financially transformative for them in the long run.
All right. Any final thoughts?
I would just say, this is a brand new program, and we are excited to offer a few new special incentives over the coming months. So, I would go to WV Jumpstart, sign up for our newsletter so you can stay up to date on some of those changes.
That's a great idea. Definitely sign up for the newsletter. Go to WVJumpstart.com. Find out more. Andrea Herrick, thank you so much for joining us today. Very informative discussion. And today we were talking about the Jumpstart Savings Program. Right now we're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll learn more about the investment program that is helping West Virginians with disabilities achieve financial independence. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Treasury Notes. I'm your host, Gina Joins. Thanks to new federal and state laws, many people with disabilities can now save and invest without losing eligibility for public benefits like supplemental security income or Medicare. For West Virginians, WVABLE provides a way to control their finances and improve their lives. Joining me now to talk more about this life-changing plan is WVABLE Director Roxanne Clay. And Roxanne, we appreciate you joining us today for this discussion. Let's get right into it. WVABLE is an investment program offered by the State Treasurer's Office. And again, it's a program for people with disabilities. Can you tell us how this program came into existence and a little bit more about it?
Sure. So WVABLE is made possible by federal legislation called the Stephen Beck Jr. ABLE Act. And ABLE stands stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience, and that was passed back in 2014. And then we were actually word got out about this federal legislation, and then of course West Virginia advocates, parent advocates, self-advocates, advocacy organizations got word of it. We were one of the 4 states that actually, first 4 that established the ABLE Act in our state. And so that was in 2015. And then our program launched 2018 and we are able to offer the ABLE savings programs to the West Virginia resident, of course, through a partnership with the Ohio Stable program.
All right, yeah, and it's been a great opportunity for people around the state of West Virginia. Many states across the country have their own ABLE programs. West Virginia's plan, as you said, opened several years ago. What kind of response have you seen to this program here in the state?
Yep, we just celebrated our 5th anniversary back in February, and currently we have over 650 account owners who are taking advantage of the benefits to saving with ABLE. We actually have close to 900 that had enrolled over the time period of the inception of the program. We have currently our assets under management, meaning all the accounts and all the funds that are accumulative, is over 5 million. And so and then of course over time we've had over 6 million in contributions. And to put that into perspective, before ABLE, individuals could not have more than $2,000 in assets. So with ABLE, they can save well above $2,000 and not be at risk for losing SSI, Medicaid, SNAP, and HUD. The average account balance for WVABLE is over $7,500. So that means individuals are saving way beyond 3 times the amount they were allowed to save before ABLE was established.
And you said this is in partnership with the Ohio Stable Account Program. Tell us a little bit more about this partnership, because I think it's definitely mutually beneficial.
Absolutely. So in 2016, Ohio was the first state to develop their program and to launch. And once it was ready, they opened it up for other states to partner with them. So they had spent a lot of time and resources. We saved a lot of money by partnering with the Ohio Stable program. And currently they're one of the strongest programs nationwide, meaning among the top assets under management and account numbers. And so there's 13 states that make up this Stable program. So they are able to negotiate, because of the high numbers, on behalf of the account owner, for lower fees. And Stable is always working to increase the features of the program. And so we benefit from all of those. The Visa debit card that folks are allowed to have free, for account owners. And then most recently, and I'm excited to share this update, is that they have worked and just recently launched the ability for SSI beneficiaries to directly deposit their SSI funds into their Stable account, and they can use their Stable account to manage the SSI benefits. So that's a huge...
that is huge.
Yeah.
But if you are a West Virginian and you join the WVABLE plan, it's still West Virginia's plan, and that's
Yes.
the beauty of this.
Yeah.
So do you have to be a West Virginia resident to be eligible for a WVABLE account?
So you do have to be a West Virginia resident to be able to, and so we're
and
able.
what are some of the other eligibility factors?
Sure.
Because I know you do have to be eligible to participate.
That's right. So West Virginia resident, and the onset of the disability currently would have to have been acquired before the age of 26. That's current day. But if I may mention that in January of 2026, that increases to before age 46. And that is a result of the recent passage of the ABLE Age Adjustment Act.
So that's going to be transformative, because right now, as you explain it, if you're 26 or under, or if you received your disability, if you got a disability before the age of 26, then you qualify for an ABLE account. But moving forward in 2026, you said, that age is going to change to 46, so that opens up this the eligibility to a whole new group of people.
It does. So nationwide, we're talking about 6 million more individuals. That includes more than 1 million veterans. And in West Virginia, we're talking about tens of thousands more individuals whose onset of their disability occurred at a later age. Maybe they had a TBI injury, maybe they had a spinal cord injury, or they were a veteran, where their disability occurred. But I want to mention one real quick thing. We do have a misconception about eligibility, and people think they have to be diagnosed before age 26, and that's not the case. It's the onset of the symptoms.
Okay. Okay, okay. And the other thing I want to talk about is the fact that ABLE is important because it doesn't impact a person's government benefits. Things like Medicaid and SSI, which you have said a couple of times in this conversation, but can you explain why this is such an important factor for this?
So individuals with disabilities that receive SSI, Medicaid, SNAP, and HUD, those are critical to pay for their everyday living expenses, to pay for medical expenses, to pay for housing, for food. They are protecting those resources. So ABLE finally, though, allows them to save above $2,000, and that's what a lot of folks don't realize is if you're receiving those public benefits, you cannot have more than $2,000 in assets. Otherwise, you lose those benefits.
But not anymore. Not with
anymore.
ABLE.
No, ABLE is a game changer. It finally levels the playing field for individuals with a disability. You can finally save way above for the child that's disabled, right? Save for them just like you would save for the child that doesn't have a disability through the Smart 529 Education Savings. We are a sister program.
Yeah.
We're both in the tax code. We're 529A.
Okay.
Same tax benefits.
But you do not have to be receiving public assistance to qualify for an account.
That's right. I'm glad you mentioned that because that's another misconception. A lot of folks think that you have to be receiving SSI in order to be eligible to enroll and own an ABLE account. That is not the case. You only have to be entitled to receive SSI, and it's all based on the disability diagnosis, which is all Social Security standards for a disability.
Okay, so let's talk about who can benefit from this. In some cases, it could be a child with disabilities, and parents can have this program for them and create a savings path for their child, which is really important. But it's also available to adults with disabilities. So can you talk a little bit about how ABLE is helping those two different factions of people?
Yeah. So absolutely, when we say disability, we mean developmental, intellectual, physical. Sometimes people think disability of just a physical disability, but it's not. It's much more than that. It's also psychiatric. And so whether the disability occurred at a young age or throughout life, they've developed a condition that has deemed them to have a disability by Social Security. So the parents can start saving when that child is young. Even if their family is not receiving SSI, they're still eligible, right, because of the disability diagnosis for the child. They can start building a nest egg for that child when they're young. And Social Security allows them to have $100,000 in their WVABLE account, and when that child turns 18, they're going to be evaluated by Social Security based on their income and assets. So again, Social Security is going to disregard that first $100,000 in that account. And then for adults that are out there living independently, they can establish an account at any age, first of all. It doesn't have to be before age 26. And then they can start saving for any type of household repairs, any medical expenses that are not paid through Medicaid, any expenses that benefits them as the beneficiary. And we often hear that folks are spending down every month to stay below that $2,000 asset limit. So now this eliminates them for even those adult individuals to be able to save for emergency fund or even for retirement.
And so what I'm hearing is that this is a really flexible program for people because it's a savings vehicle for long term, but then it's also, they have the ability to use it for short-term expenses. So let's talk a little bit about what can you use when you save money through an ABLE account, and we should mention this is savings and investments. You do have some investment options, but when you're saving through this account, then when you take it out, what can you use this money for?
Sure. So the ABLE Act says that funds in an ABLE account should be used to pay for what's called qualified disability expenses. And there's not a list of items that falls within that category, but what defines it is, of course, it must benefit the account owner, the beneficiary, and it must help to maintain or improve health, independence, quality of life for that individual. So, whether it be education expenses, whether it be everyday living, food, housing, transportation. For the individual that's working and that owns an ABLE account, maybe they want to further their career path and they want to put monies towards, education-related expenses or transportation or job coaching. So anything, even individuals that want to go on a vacation, because you know what, that increases the quality of life for that individual with a disability.
And it's different than a special needs or pooled trust. So that's another option that some people have at their disposal, but WVABLE is a little bit different.
It is different. You have a broader spending power from how you can use your funds in a stable account, WVABLE account, whereas a special needs trust, it's more restrictive. You know, you can't use it to pay for housing and food. But where trusts and ABLE accounts work really well together is you can move monies from a trust over into a stable account, and then once it's there, you can use it for housing and food. So we always like to say they work really well together.
All right, so I need to open up an ABLE account. What do I do? How do people go make sure that they qualify and then go and open up an account and start this process?
Yes, it's easy. So you go to WVABLE.com and you click open an account, and it's going to take you to the stable account enrollment platform. And know that this is not an application where you're approved or denied. This is an enrollment. So you're just answering a series of enrollment questions, and it's simple as that.
Oh, and is there proof that they have to provide? Are there different, is there any minimum contribution to open an account?
Sure.
Anything like that?
So Stable has made this an easy process. So whatever, you never have to upload forms like during the enrollment unless it's requested, but initially you're not uploading anything. You just keep these forms on hand in case it's ever requested. And then, of course, there is a minimum of a $25 opening deposit that you do need to do in order to activate the account. That is not a fee, it just creates the opening balance.
So there is a minimum, and what about fees?
To own a stable account, the program manager charges $3.25 per month. And that is actually automatically withdrawn on a quarterly basis. And then the other fee that's involved is called an asset-based fee, and that is only from the earnings portion of the investment, and that's 0.19 to 0.33%, which is incredibly comparable to the Smart 529. And then it's a great rate when you compare it against other national programs.
I want to talk really quickly about this too. People can also get a stable card,
Yes.
which is nice because of the convenience, and that's how we're used to operating now, right?
Absolutely. So for individuals that want to have, quick, easy access to the funds in their stable account, they have the ability to receive a Visa stable debit card. It doesn't come automatic. You do have to request it. And then once you request it, then you're going to load that card. It doesn't automatically pull funds from the stable account, so there's some protection mechanisms in place there. And then for the parent, for example, that has an adolescent or even the adult, that they want that individual to have money every month, like to use to spend for food or housing or just different things. They can set up spending parameters to where maybe that card can only be swiped at Walmart or the Dollar General store, or only for food related items. And then they can get a text alert every time that card is used.
Well, Roxanne, thank you so much for being here today. We could talk and talk about WVABLE, but unfortunately we're out of time. But people can go online if they need more information and tell us that website.
Yes, that's right. We always encourage folks to. We have a WVABLE page at the State Treasurer's website. Go there. You'll find Program Resources tab, but you're also going to find upcoming events. I highly recommend for folks to hop on a webinar. We do these monthly where they can get all the ins and outs of the program, clear up myths, misconceptions, and just have an opportunity to ask questions. We're also on Facebook. Follow us there. We post information about how individuals can maximize on the use of their accounts as well.
That's great. Thanks so much, Roxanne. And that's all the time we have. Thank you for joining us today. You can learn more about the State Treasurer's Office and its programs by visiting wvtreasury.com. Also, you can stay up to date on the latest news and information from the office. Just follow WV Treasury on your favorite social media platform. Keeping you informed on the Library Television Network, I'm Gina Joins with the West Virginia State Treasurer's Office.